Hello and welcome to the WBAP 820 570 KLIF Weather Podcast for Thursday, October 6th, 2022. And we really have just one theme to today's podcast. That is, when is it going to rain again in Dallas-Fort Worth, if ever? As of today, October 6th, DFW Airport hasn't measured any rainfall in the past 32 days. And looking ahead at the forecast, we're probably going to run that dry streak out to maybe 38 days by next Wednesday. And that's if we get rain a week from today, which is next Thursday. So we'll see. Not only that, this is our second long stretch of drought this year. It's been a brutal summer for lawns and landscapes. I can tell you that for sure. Personal experience. Okay, well, let's go ahead and bring up the satellite loop over Texas this morning. There's a weak low-pressure trough off to the west of us this morning, and it's throwing off some high clouds you might see in the northwest of DFW, Bridgeport, Decatur, Denton, maybe Dallas-Fort Worth area a little bit later on today. Okay, here's our national radar starting out west. A little rain in Montana, some patchy light rain from New Mexico into the Texas Panhandle, spotty showers in the Corn Belt, some up in the Great Lakes, and that patch of rain you see east of Boston in the Canadian Maritimes, that is what is left of Hurricane Ian. And all that destruction that hurricane caused in Puerto Rico and Florida and Georgia and South Carolina. It's right there northeast of Boston right now. I'm going to just go on to the northeast and out of our lives finally one of these days. Now, since the tropics are finally active in the Caribbean, here's the next potential development that we're watching. It's just off the coast of Venezuela. It's expected to develop into at least a tropical disturbance as it moves east toward Honduras. It's probably going to curve north up into the Gulf, and that's how we think we might be able to get some rain up here late next week. That's about the only thing we got working for us at this time. Okay, let's go to the models. Here's the global forecast system, and we're actually running this model sequence from this coming Sunday through next Wednesday night, Thursday morning. That's what I wanted you to see. And that scattered rain you see that's coming up from the Gulf, into the southern Gulf of Mexico is presumably the rain from that tropical disturbance. That's what that is. Now let's go ahead and stop the action, and we can get a little better look at it. We also have a little bit of a frontal boundary. You can see that cutting across the southern edge of Indiana and down through the southern tip of Illinois into the Ozarks, and it's producing a little bit of rain in North Texas. Not much, but a little bit of rain. Let's zoom in here now. Again, that's the same model picture for late Wednesday night to Thursday morning. Not much rain, not very impressive, but again, that's all we have to work with at this time. If we're lucky, we'll get some rain here on Thursday. Okay, let's go ahead and start off with the forecast maps. In fact, we start off with Thursday evening, some light rain over to Mexico and the Panhandle from that weak low-pressure trough that was producing the clouds off to the northwest earlier today, plus a few showers in the Great Lakes and upstate New York, and scattered rains in South Florida. Also, notice the minor cold front that's stretched across North Texas this evening with a stronger front up in Oklahoma being pushed southward by a fairly strong surface high moving out of Canada. When you see a 1,038 millibar high this time of year, that's a pretty potent high-pressure system. It's going to move quite a ways to the south. Now we move on to Friday night, and again that western trough is producing some much-needed rain in the Panhandle, New Mexico, and even in Arizona, and by then that surface high that was in Canada has weakened slightly. It was 1,038 millibar, now it's down to 1,032 millibar, but it's still moving southeast into Iowa. All right, now Saturday morning. The surface high moves to about Kansas City, and it's pushing a new frontal boundary into North Texas on Saturday morning. And it should be cooler in North Texas Saturday afternoon with a high in the lower 80s. So we're all kind of looking forward to that. Probably see some overnight lows in the 50s and maybe some lows in the 40s along the Red River Saturday night, Sunday morning. As we move into next week, we see some new thunderstorm activity over Florida, which they don't need. Scattered showers and a few storms in northwest Texas and in New Mexico from a newly forming surface system, along with some upper-level support for some more scattered rain and scattered thunderstorms over West Texas and the Panhandle, portions of New Mexico, Arizona, and Colorado, okay? And as we move on to Wednesday, the tropical low that we showed you a little bit earlier is now producing some scattered showers in southeast and coastal Texas. And if you'll notice the way the isobars are arranged here, we can expect a southerly flow of some of that moisture, which should bring some of that rain up into Texas on Thursday. And if we're fortunate enough to get another little frontal boundary coming out of the panhandle moving toward us on Thursday morning. It might give that rainfall just a bit of a nudge. Certainly hope so. It's a long shot, but it's about all we have working for us at this time. Okay, here's the forecast for Dallas-Fort Worth. We're going to be mostly sunny, warm on Thursday with a high of 89, northeast winds 5 to 10, fair 61 to 66 for the overnight low, sunny to partly cloudy and warm 88 tomorrow Friday. Will be cooler 82 on Saturday with mid-80s Sunday and Monday. And then we'll start warming up a little bit, and our next chance of rain is Thursday. Well, thanks again for joining us for today's weather podcast on WBAP 820 and 570 KLIF. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next Thursday, and hopefully it'll be a little wetter by then. Bye-bye.